Alright, I got it threaded in about an inch. Clipped in place. Plastic sleeve in place. Through the hole in the frame, which I repaired in Phoenix. Somebody went off-roading, and this bracket here was bent. Bolted on, interesting. You'd think it would be welded on. And I got it clipped in place there. A little tricky to get that unclipped. So, clipped in place on top of the differential. Through the little hanger in the frame. Whoop. And we'll go around off the creeper. Uh-oh. To the other side. Chevrolet. And I got some grease here for the seal. I got the brakes all put back together, and I got lots of lube. TCs everywhere. Everywhere. Self-adjuster, spring, self-adjuster mechanism, springs, emergency brake clip. I got fluid film all around the outer backing plate. Sprayed everywhere. And I got a new seal for here, and I went to put it on, and it's the wrong size. By like a ½ inch. That's a lot. Oh well. Put the old one back. Hope that it doesn't leak onto my brand new made in Mexico brake shoes. Leading shoe is smaller, half the material. Trailering shoe is thicker, and it has more meat usually, bigger diameter. So I'm going to put this 100-pound brake drum back on with the integral hub with the locks to remove the bearing when you have to remove it. Held in place with a C-clip with a big tooth. We'll put it back together and go on to do the other side. Or maybe we'll cold crank the old dump truck. We'll see. I was thinking of showing you the drum installation, but I said, nah, I'll drop it on my toe or something. I'm not going to show you that. I often wonder if I wipe out and go over a cliff or into a ditch, who's going to take my camera and put it up on YouTube so you can see my stupidity. Anyhow, so I put the drum on and I tightened the inside nut, and there's no washer. It's kind of odd. Tightened it right down tight. And then I had to back it off a little bit because that's the way it works. There's tight right there, and there's where you put the loose Woodruff key, and it goes into that slot. They mate. So I got to go backwards to the next slot. Unlike the ball joints where you never back off, this one you back off. You take the loose Woodruff key that I've stored right here. Hard to believe, huh? Just a square key. Nothing to hold it, nothing to stop it, no springs, no nothing. And you slide it in place, right like that. And you take the external contracting, because it contracts to the inside, and you slip it in place. I'm not going to show you that part. It's complicated. Oh. Jack stand, cloth, plop that right there, stay. Good boy. Woo! I just dropped the C-clip into the sand. So I'm going to take my dirty tissue. They call it a Kleenex, but you can call it a tissue. Clean off the needle nose. Oh yeah. It was very emotional for both of us. Very joyful. Just catches on the threads. It was a moment to just be very grateful. We were both very grateful that it had happened.
I hadn't thought until you told me that story how much of an emotional roller coaster this could be for you.
Well, it's hard to believe that all this holds it together.
It can be, terribly sad,
I'll move this a little closer. Show you what I'm doing. Oh! Lost our angle. Our angle to dangle. Yeah, that's it.
That one photograph they're looking for, and it's so joyful. And
C-clip.
it has been very emotionally taxing.
Locking clip. Woodruff key. Just sitting there. No notch, no spring, no nothing. Just that ring that goes all the way around and has a little tooth on it.
It will come to a point when we have exhausted all of our possibilities.
I was reading comments when I put the ball joints in the Suburban, and somebody asked about the hidden nut. And I just presumed that all the Dana 44 upper ball joints had that nut inside the spindle. But I guess not. So I torqued it down to 70 foot-pounds, and then I clicked the torque wrench. They're talking about the hurricane in Joplin, Missouri in May.
I'd be very happy doing this for the rest of my life.
Make sure that we have a link on our website to the kind of work that you're doing so people will know that. But I'm curious to know, what's the one thing?
And people mentioned that in shop class or aviation class for rebuilding, if they would click the torque wrench twice, their director or inspector would make them discard it and install a new fastener. I just clicked the torque wrench a couple times just to show you, just to make sure you heard the click. But I didn't crank on it and move the nut. But this is also GM, and stuff is rough and ready on GM. There's no precise fit on stuff. Like, for instance, these door strikers are non-adjustable. There's a round hole, and I undid the one on the other side. I think I showed you that. And the plate just fell in. There's no retainer to hold that plate. No adjustment. Hinges are welded onto the body. Pretty convenient, huh? If you have to adjust something, you're SOL. These are dry. I have to lube those up. Here's my Star Corvair catalog. I've been leafing through it in between working. Axle strap holders, rear end gasket kit, super yokes, remachine late yokes for early 60s type transaxles, stronger design avoids stretch and distortion of yoke. I'm going to have to post a few of these pictures in Corvair Center Forum. Star Corvair, cylinder heads, valve guides, valve lifters, rocker arms, heat treated, tough tread. Interesting stuff. So I guess I'm done with this side. I'll throw the axle back in. Should put a bit of lube in there maybe. Maybe put more lube inside the differential so it runs out here, because I did lose a little bit in the bottom of the container. Not too much, but that much. That's how you change the rear brakes, emergency brake cable. I got to adjust the brakes. Do a little bit of work. Still a bit to be done here. Adjust the rear shoes with the star wheel on the inside. You do that through the access hole that you can't see, but it's right there. And then see if your emergency brake works. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Squeak, squeak, squeak. All right. Things are coming together.
Hey Jared, you're on.
Alright, the axle shaft.
Mitt Romney.
Everything's in place. My loose Woodruff key. I can't believe nothing holds that Woodruff key but the lightest tension on that ring. Anyhow, I got some silicone on the inner circumference to keep the grease from going through the bolt holes and filling my center cap up with differential lube. In goes the axle. And then you line up the drum a little bit. Ooh-doo-doo-doo.
Well, can you give me any specifics?
Well, I just run into a lot.
There it is.
You were a Mormon yourself.
A little bit of silicone.
Yeah, so
I got my bolts all cleaned off. Maybe I'll put a bit of lubricant on them. Some light lube. Grade 8 bolts. That's what attaches the differential to the hub. Right there.
Well, I mean, listen.
Fluid film. And I'll adjust the drum and see how that emergency brake works with a good cable. Black silicone, made in USA. What else am I doing here? Looking at my wood getting crunched. Brake adjusting tools. Just more or less bent screwdrivers, that's all they are. Just to catch that star wheel. You just go like this. Okay. Bolt time.